Okay, welcome back. Today we are covering the annual quality assurance report. It's a critical element of the overall QA business, and I have written 2 of these reports. I can tell you it's a lot of work, but it's also a lot of fun, and it's very rewarding for your institution once the leadership has seen such a report and is aware of what all the good things that happened in the past year. So let's start. Before I forget it, please be aware that this presentation is also available in the PDF format for your download. It's the full version, and here we have the learning objective. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. You should be able to produce an annual quality assurance report. This is the context. You might remember that we have 2 cycles, 2 PDCA cycles: plan, act, plan, do, check, act. Sorry, I mixed up the order, but PDCA. And this is a normal cycle inside the education and training facility. And this is linked with the external PDCA cycle from headquarters ACT. And this is the point where the quality assurance report kicks in, because it provides direct feedback to ACT about what happened in your school in the past year. Here we go. Okay, the references. So this is what the biases are directing. And this is the due date of the report. Every year, in the end of January, the QA report is due. Why is it important? Of course, we want to be able to deliver NATO-provided courses. That's understood. ACT even says they retain the right to withdraw the accreditation if an institution is no longer able to show that they are committed to quality. So remember, the accreditation is due every 6 years. And after an accreditation, ACT wants to be ensured, as well as you want to be internally, that you continue to be committed to quality assurance in education and training. This is why. The aim is relatively clear. It's an opportunity. And I've gone through this process twice, so I can really confirm it's an opportunity for the school, because it allows you to measure and monitor. It also enables you to show what you have done differently in the past. Where is your continuous improvement? You are transparent to all your stakeholders, and it's an opportunity to showcase what you have done in the past year. For headquarter ACT, and remember, they are overseeing a number of institutions. I think at the moment we have 35 or 38 accredited schools, so they can see what's going on inside the schoolhouses. And they are able to compile their annual summary, and I will show you an example of that later. And this is to share information and keep the community informed. Okay, the timeline, very important. So if you apply for an accreditation, the first thing that you need to produce is a so-called self-assessment report. And this is a self-assessment report is the basis for your accreditation. And in subsequent years, ACT is requiring that you provide your annual quality assurance report, which is followed in the 6th year by another self-assessment report, because the accreditation is valid for 6 years. So that's the timeline. After a short break, I will talk about the main topics here of the QA report. You can see them in the yellow box, and more to follow in a couple of minutes. Okay, welcome back, and now let's take a look at the content of the quality assurance report. And I will talk you through all these little bubbles on the screen, and we will talk about each and every chapter of such a report. Let's start with the table of contents. That's the simple part. It's not too complicated to create a table of contents. So let's move directly to the introduction. You can see the main topics here on the slide. And maybe it's useful to provide a reading guide, because various stakeholders might be interested in various aspects of your quality assurance, while the executives and the leaders are more interested in an executive summary. So it's maybe useful to make some comments on how to read such a QA report. Followed by the introduction, we are talking about the main outputs. That's the core information of the quality assurance report. And here I try to summarize what I've done in the past. So of course, I talk about the courses and also some performance indicators, if you wish. How many courses, how many are certified, how many are uploaded to eTalk, how many course control documents you have, etc. Then you want to talk about your students. Again, some performance indicators. And of course, you also want to talk about your staff development and your instructors. And this together is one element of the main output here. Another element is the contribution to NATO. Remember, this is also a NATO quality standard. So I try to list a couple of events here which might be of relevance. Conferences attended, workshops, annual discipline conferences. Another aspect is the synergy, something you have worked together with other institutions, universities, NATO agencies, other schoolhouses. You want to talk about accreditations, because be aware that some institutions are also accredited using other frameworks. For example, the International Standardization Organization or some national frameworks. And don't forget to mention support. The third main output is your review of your curriculum. So a self-reflection on the courses. Are they running well? Do they have minor issues? Is there a maintenance plan in hand? And if necessary, also, do you have courses that require some major investments and some major activities to ensure that the quality remains the same? A favorite topic of mine is new courses, pilot courses. Remember, we are living in a very dynamic environment. So on an annual basis, typically new requirements for new courses come up, which have to be tested. And here's the opportunity to talk about pilot courses and the way ahead with those new courses. Okay, for sure you also want to conduct a review of your internal quality management system. And this is also to allow you to share some insights with ACT. And this is why it's not only about strengths, but it's also about weaknesses and future actions to ensure that the quality is actually increasing. A good example is course control documents. So I will not go into greater detail here, but this is an opportunity to increase the quality of education and individual training in NATO, because there are strengths regarding CCDs, but there are also some weaknesses. So it's an ideal opportunity to review that and make it better in the future. You for sure want to also check your quality management system standards. And finally, if you have best practices, you want to share that with other institutions. These are all kind of new developments that occurred over the past year. For example, you have bought tablets, so students can use tablets in the classroom. You have improved your distributed learning capability. You have improved your mobile education and training teams. You have bought new equipment which help the students to learn better. All these activities. And this is all part of the continuous improvement process. Continuous improvement means, do you have a mechanism in place on how to measure that, on how to write that down? Here's the opportunity to share that. And I'll just name some aspects here. Finally, some contact information is always useful in case somebody wants to interact with you. And typically that's the quality manager of an education and training facility. Okay, So as I mentioned before, ACT is giving you feedback on a daily basis. Remember the two cycles here, which are connected to each other. And what ACT is doing, they are producing their NATO Quality Assurance Summary. This is a summary of all QA reports they have received in the past year, and then they will synthesize that and come up with the summary. I have provided an example of the latest version on the LMS, so please feel free to use it. It's in the pre-reading folder and you can download it for your further information. I'm not sure whether this is very well readable, but here you have the list of currently accredited institutions. And I think it's way over 30 institutions, and the program is still growing because this is an overview of that's what's planned for the next upcoming years. In the near future, we will have over 50 education and training facilities accredited. So this is why the QA report is ideal to summarize what all these schoolhouses have identified as their main output of their respective quality assurance reports. Okay, the summary, here are some headlines, but you have the downloads, you can use the real example from 2019. Okay, before I forget it, let me quickly recommend to you to use the Transformation Network portal. This is a portal operated by Allied Command Transformation. It has various communities of interest, and one of them is, as you can see here, NATO education, training and exercises. And inside the education, training and exercises community, you have also quality assurance. So there are other communities like global programming, e-learning, etc. But quality assurance, this is the topic of your course. I recommend to register on this portal. It doesn't take long, you just need to provide an email address, and then they come back to you and give you the login information. And here you have a number of important informations related to quality assurance and to the QA report. So in order to round this out, the recommendation is to register on this portal and look what ACT has ready for you to download. Okay, the QA report, I think that's all I wanted to cover so far. Please continue to use the forum, please continue to use the chat, provide me with your feedback, and use your learning journals to make sure that you do not have any further questions that my team and myself are able to answer. Thank you.